ladies and gentlemen, it's a madhouse!
Hey, it's Rob here from the Movie Madhouse talking CKX, and we have our special guest, Joseph Arena. You have Joseph. I thought it was Joe.
Well, I go by Joe, Joseph, or you can go by the Italian name Giuseppe, but it's all the same, right?
There we go. How are you today, Joe?
I'm doing, as I like to typically say, not bad for an old grandpa.
There we go. You can't ask for more than that. Well, you can, but you won't get it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We're chatting with you today because you are going to be part of CKX. You're going to be right in the games room with us.
Yes, I saw the map recently, Rob. I'm somewhere between the Jurassic and the other side of the gaming area there, and I'll be there, of course, with my games and my books. Right. So there's one of the games. I don't know if you can see that. There will be a number of them available in different versions.
Perfect. And
So,
there we go. We'll bring that map up just so people can see.
Yeah.
There we go. And yes,
So,
you are at S44. And what does that stand for?
Score 44 is the name of the actual card game. It's a series of card games. So the one game allows for multiple games, and eventual additions and alterations and versions will allow for considerably more. Eventually, the goal will be to have a product that will allow for several hundred games.
Nice. So that's kind of going on in there, as well as other little things that you have that you're bringing, correct?
Yes, I'll be bringing, of course, I've got a history of doing many decades of shows over the years, and been a guest at different shows, including, you probably can't see it behind me, but there's a poster from one that Richard Cumley had put on, who I'd known since the 70s. And in the future, they're actually planning to do a special cover, he and his son, for when I do the thicker Perfect Bound books.
Excellent. And yeah, you are also leading off our film and panel room. I'm going to throw that up right there because 11 o'clock, you will be in there talking about your creation, like how you created Score 44. And the thing that intrigues me the most is your risk rules.
Yeah, risk. I can give you a quick point form blurb on that if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Would you? Okay. Well, basically, over to my shoulder, and don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see the risk board over there?
Absolutely.
Right about there. Okay. That risk board in the corner is basically showing you a map of risk. So you can use any risk game, okay, that is a classic global or world domination game. I have a little sword and scabbard there, sort of, because the period here is, of course, pirate era. But when you're transferring to play Risk in this game, there are three things I changed to make, and it's incredibly simple, but it works very well. One is you have to earn 1/3 of the game board. If you earn 14 territories out of the 42 territories, you earn what you see up behind me, which is a ship battle fleet card. It's kind of right up in the corner, up at the top of the hilt of the sword. You see it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's that. Now that is basically a mobile continent contained on ships, because you've got all these fleets there, and they can attack within this is the second feature, a 3-minute time limit anywhere on the board, any coastal line, which means country borders don't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. They can break in from just about anywhere, and as long as they do it within the 3-minute time. When the timer goes, you're done. But you can decimate everybody and take over the risk game in almost no time. The second feature, or the third feature, I should say, is the castle card, which is close to the ship card up there. And it is basically a card that is not mobile, but once you place it on a risk board on a specific territory, you get 50 armies loaded into that area, as long as you still have, again, the 21 territories at the beginning of your turn. So a game never lasts more than an hour. It's usually done in 30 minutes. You can even have ship-to-ship battles to take over someone's ship, and then you'll have 2 ships to load up.
See, that intrigues me because, I find the ocean is so much wasted space in a risk game.
Yeah, nothing happens there, right? And what's the big argument about risk is it takes so long.
Yep.
So if you can do the game in 30 minutes to an hour at max, you're laughing. In fact, you can have a whole tournament in a day. And I ought to know I've got enough risk games to outfit 300 players. So that's just one of my hobbies.
You could run your own tournament. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, actually, if you ever want to do that there, like next year,
Mm.
and set up a whole tournament, hey, give me a shout.
We need to chat about that. Yes, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
That would be fun. So basically, I am here to talk about the books and the games. If you have any questions or what would you like me to do? This is your show, so please lead me on, and I'll follow like a loyal hound.
What we're doing is we're just kind of give people an advanced kind of knowledge of what to expect when they come to see you at CKX. So they're going to be in the games room. They're going to learn Score 44 as well as the demo and the risk. But you, like you pointed out earlier, you're also an author. So
yes,
you will have books available as well.
Yes, I will have 7 books available. Just about a year ago, just over a year ago, I started a 5-year program. And in that program, I had laid out and plotted out the outlines and drafts for 30 different books. Okay. And each book, which I can show you, this is what the new cover will be, which I showed you earlier. So basically, there are 30 books. The current ones that are out, the first 6 have this kind of a cover. Okay. And I have plotted out 30 separate titles, but each title has anywhere from 1 to half a dozen or so parts. So at the end of a 5-year program, instead of 30, I could easily have 60 or 100 books. Then I'm going to compile these betas, these early versions, into perfect bound books and probably end up with a half a dozen or more of those.
Excellent. And so they'll be available. And you said number 7 is coming out?
Yes, I'm picking it up. They said I could get it early this week. So that, to me, that usually means Monday or Tuesday, likely. I'll pick it up from the publishing printers, and then I'll take them down here and start to sort them out and put them with the other 6, because I like to group them together so people have the option of picking up the entire set if they want, as far as it's gone at this point.
Gotcha. Well, it does make sense. That way you have all the information, you get all the story.
Now, I don't know if you can see this at all, but I will put this up here. And these are just a few of the sponsors we have that are handling the books.
Oh, cool.
And some art, of course. And then there's Nerds Gaming as well, which is right there. It is really weird trying to handle a camera position. Crosby's bookstore, of course. And we have the Jack's Jungle. And I'll mention here it's the RQC Supply and the Real Treats, which used to run a drive-in theater and opened up a shop. And we have a number of different locations, or they can order directly through me, or as typically happens, they'll come to me at a market in the summer, or a festival, or a fair, or a Comic-Con, and they'll pick up the books, right?
Perfect.
So that's kind of what I'm doing at this point, and I'm just kind of getting the whole thing. I've had a lot of coverage over the years on some of the information that's out there, including different versions of games I put out in the past. Of course, my pre-internet era. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I did the original paperback. There it is, the original paperback, and which is quite rare now. And this is the hardcover. There were only 126 copies of those. The paperback, I think, were a 2,000 run, and we started at $295 and ended up at $32.95, and then we did a $182.95 cover price on a limited run of hardcovers. This is pre-internet. This was early 80s, and so it's a whole different kind of accomplishment back then, because the average author only sells in Canada, if you look at the stats, 300 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
That's all. It's not a major thing.
It's not the $1 million company that people think it is.
100 like, are you still there? Yeah. What's that? I'm sorry.
It's not the million. Yeah, it's not the $1 million company. Like, I think people think I'm going to write a book and make $1 million. It's not that.
Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I'm a senior, and if I make a little bit here and there to supplement the typical senior's pension, hey, that's great. And if I can have fun with it and take it as a hobby and develop it and it grows, great. That would be phenomenal. But I have no delusions of like, I'm not going to be the next George Martin. Okay, I mean, or Tolkien. But I do have my own style of writing, which is different, and I tend to write in unique perspectives too. One of the features in the book, for instance, there are characters that run in the book, but the story is told from different perspectives at different times. And the reason I do that, and the reason it's allowed in this context, is that the series has unique features. The main characters and a lot of the characters in the stories that interact have been granted a unique miraculous gift. They're called communing spheres, and they
Okay.
interlink the thoughts and minds of each individual. So you can have impressions and what people are saying or thinking expressed at different times in that way. So it really kind of opens it up to other ways of doing things.
Cool. That is cool. How did you come up with that style?
So basically, well, I've always been writing and telling stories. I remember as a kid, I used to sit around, and I was quite young, and I would sit around in a circle with neighborhood children, and they would come to listen to the latest crazy dreams and stories that I had as a kid. And here I am at that time, just a 3-year-old kid, and I had kids my age and 2 or 3 or even 4 times my age. So some of them were up to 9 or 12 years old, and they hung on every word. And I thought, oh, okay, I got something here. I started writing in a way that was legible and discernible once I got into grade school. Early stuff was pretty much pictograms with a few words here and there, and the rest was embellishment as I told, right? But once I wrote the story in grade school, which was based on this, the hardcover, the teacher liked it so much she had me read it to my class. And here I am,
That's
3 years
cool.
old. I'd never done this before, or not 3 years old, 8 years old, 8 years old at that time. 3 years old when I started drawing and writing, but 8 years old when I wrote this assignment, which was, you can write about anything you want, write about it. So I took 200 pages of foolscap, and I wrote on both sides until there was no room, almost no white space. And so the teacher went through this, and she like went painstakingly through what I'd written, because I am not an editor, but she went through this thing and she, oh, but she liked it. And so she said, I want you to read this to the class. And I said, no, I'm not. She says, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I said, okay, fine, I'll read it. So she has me to the class, and then she arranged another time for me to do it, and she invites the older classes to hear the same
Cool.
story. And I'm going, oh, wait a minute. It's one thing to read to 20 odd kids in a class. Now you want me to read it to all the other classes? And I ended up reading it for the whole school.
That's
And
awesome.
it went really well later on, of course, the history on that. And that's always been my thing. And I've had the encouragement over the years of getting advice from different people. Don Heron, you might remember, is an actor, author, and used to play Charlie Farquharson years ago. Madjo Barrett Roddenberry gave me encouragement. All these different characters throughout my life. Judith Merrill, they said, hey, you can write good science fiction. But Judith's comment was interesting. She goes, but I think your ability for bump and humor is even greater. So I add humor throughout my writing style, right? Because I want people to go, oh, I can relate to that. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Or I can understand that, or even see myself or someone else I know in this, right? So I do that. And I say, if you're going to write a story, throw some humor into it, as well as the excitement and the adventure. But you got to put a little bit of a little twist here, a little up and down, right?
That is cool.
So what else would you like to know, Rob?
Well, let's touch back on what you're going to be doing at CKX in the games room, because you're going to be there at the table with Score 44. How tough of a game is this to learn?
Oh, not hard at all. The game itself is numbered from 1 to 21. Okay. So there are 6 suits numbered 1 to 21 and a wild card for each suit.
Okay.
Once you understand that, I was hoping to find the, do I have something? I'm going to grab a visual aid. Is that good? Can I
Okay.
bring a
Yep.
visual aid in?
Absolutely. I'll go back to the map and
Yeah.
point out a
Okay.
couple things while you're gone. That
Oh, here it
right,
is.
oh, good. Right beside Joe, we
Fantastic.
are going to
So,
have the Jurassic Adventure Kids Zone. Steve Buckley's running that, and that should be really cool to look at. But now back to score 44. Let's go back to this.
okay, I'm trying to get the right positioning here on this. Can you see this at all?
There we go. Yep.
Here we are. Okay, now we're talking. So I'm going to point to this, and hopefully you can see it. But oh my goodness, Joe, you're not very steady, are you? No, that's okay. So there are cards numbered 1 to 21, which are up. If I can find where they are. Okay, there's a wild card at the top, so I'm going to put that in there.
Okay.
Can you see that wild card at the corner, right there?
Yes.
See that?
With the gold bar down the
That's the
middle.
wild card. Yeah, and then there is a penalty card, silver 15, and
Okay.
a penalty card, gold 19. The cards go from 1 to 21. Just below that, you'll see the 1 to 21 and the backs of what some of the card editions look like.
Okay.
And then you'll see option cards below that, which is a different version you can play with this game, which allow you to change positions and turns and make people steal their cards, or you have treaties and so forth. But the object of the game is on this board, and I'm just going to set it down now because it's difficult to handle that and explain this. But 1 to 21 are the numbers. The wild cards could be made from 1 to 44. Okay. So the object is you have to match a number on the table. 6 cards get placed face up. 4 cards are dealt out to each player. You look at your 4 cards. You can only use one of them to pick up and match a card. So for instance, let's say you have a 21 and a 21 is on the table. You can pick it up. Or maybe there's a 10 and 11. You can pick it up. Okay. Now, if there's a 21 on the table and a 10 and 11, or a 7 and a 14, okay, you still have to go for the 21, because whenever the true card is on the table, you have to take it and not the combination.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yep.
So you get points for most cards, collecting most wild cards, which can be turned from any number to 144 in order to pick up more cards. Most clean sweeps, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. There is a tutorial online on YouTube on how to play this game, but I'm going to give you this quick version here. So you basically can clean sweep everything if you have a card that equals the total value of the number shown, either one card or more that's down there, but you have the total value in your hand in one card, like a wild card, or a 21 or something that's enough to pick up everything. You go down, you scoop the cards off the table, you put one card face up like this, okay? And then you put the other cards face down like that. The card that's face up, you can see how it sticks out. That card becomes a 3-point marker. There are star cards in the game, 48 of them. If you collect 20, then you get 20 points. Each clean sweep, by the way, is worth 3 points. Every time you clean sweep and put that card one face up, one face down, that's worth 3 points. You get 10 of those in a game, it's 30. And the object, of course, is score 44, is to score 44 points. The other advantage in the game is you get points for most cards, most wild cards, and then there's the big one, the Pegasus Unicorn. So if you get, which is one of the main creature characters in the book, but if you get the Pegasus Unicorns, because the game is mentioned in the books, you have to collect the majority. There are only 30. So if you have a table, and again, this game can go from 2 to 24 players. So this is big.
Oh, wow.
You could literally run a tournament on a couple of games.
Nice.
Yeah. So 2 to 24 players. So if there are 30 and some got 5, another person got 7, whatever, one of you is going to have either tie or have more than someone else. So whoever has the one card more than anyone else or ties gets 19 bonus points in the game. And the only 2 penalties are, again, as I mentioned earlier, the silver colored, kind of a silver gray colored 15. If you get that card, you have to deduct 7. If you get the gold 19, you lose 12 points. Now, you would think out of a deck of 144 cards that it would be difficult to avoid those 2 penalties. It is not. And I'll tell you why. Because the penalty cards, when you play them, Yeah, no one wants to pick them up, right? So unless someone's brave enough to take it and think they'll have enough points, no one can clean sweep after that. So some people wait or do it early to stop others from clean sweeping. But the other way you can get these cards is at the end of the turn of the deck. Once the deck is gone, the game is pretty much over. You just play out what's left in your hand. You have to play out your cards, but whoever picks up last gets whatever on the table. Now, that could be good. That could be great because you could have all kinds of star cards, Pegasus cards, whatever on the table. But you might have one or more of the penalty cards as well. So that gives you score 44 in a nutshell. Yeah. And it's basically a couple of minutes to grasp once you've started, and 20-minute game, and it's done. Now it goes faster with more players because the deck disappears faster.
That I believe, from the sounds of it, that I really believe.
And eventually, I want to be able to adapt it to all kinds of games.
So you will be in the games room showing people how to play this, as well as in our film and panel room. Joe, thanks for coming to CKX. I can't wait. It's only 2 weeks away now.
Would you like blurb read from the book, or are we out of time?
We're we try and keep these small so people will watch them, because the longer they get, the less they want to watch them. So this gives a great show of what Joe Arena is and what he will be doing at CKX. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, I'll see you down there. We'll have some more fun then.
Okay, and remember, CKX, April 27th, April 28th at the John D. Bradley Center. I'll be there. Joe's going to be there, so you need to be there too.
Shut up!